Good morning. It's time for Comics and Coffee with Cliff. And look, we got Randy from Swarm of Comics here. This is amazing. Just a quick PSA from our channel. I like to get that out of the way just in case. Just let people know. Randy, good morning. How are you? And of course, thank you for being here.
I am wonderful. You can hear me okay here? Everything?
Oh, yeah, great. You're great. I love it.
Great.
You're the least microphone issues I've had in 3 weeks. Amazing. Every time I'm like clicking on stuff and increasing volume and like, all right, we're going to do this. It's going to happen.
Good. I don't want to let everybody down.
No, you're good. Look, the chat is buzzing. I see JSS is on the move. John is already doing things. I'm not sure I'm mature enough for Cliff's programming. Thanks, John. I love you too, baby. And Dan's Comics Corner has made it. Thank you, Dan. All right, we're doing good. I see some of your pals have shown up. Isolated Antagonist and
Great Keys and a whole bunch of them. Keys. Yeah. Where's I saw another one there. Hold on. I just want to say hi to Nicole. Hi, Nicole. Hi, Glenn. Hi, everybody.
You too. Wow. Excellent.
Carl. Yeah.
No, you have a pretty decent crowd. And then of course some of them are questionable, but you're very good at not feeding the trolls because so like as I've been watching your videos, I'm like, how does he do this? How does he navigate this? Like I'm watching and I'm like, he's doing great. Like you're really good. You try to stick with like the really sincere commentary.
Yeah. And it's funny you say that. Sorry to interrupt, but it's something I thought of the other day is that you mentioned earlier when you and I were talking backstage about, why do we do this? Is it because we love comics? Is it because we want to be famous? Is it both? And I thought about this. Some of my videos get a lot of views, some don't. And I'm okay with that. Some of my videos have 6,000 views, some have 60 views. And what I realized is, and I was just saying this to my brother, Bronze Age Bill, hello, Bronze Age Bill, is that I love the core group of people that I have and I've cultivated over the past 2 years. I would rather have 150 views on a video with 30 people that are amazing, fun people to talk to and comment on than have 1 million trolls and 1 million this and that. I'm not saying I wouldn't like to get a bigger and bigger audience, but part of me gets a little anxious thinking about that because I don't want to deal with trolls. I don't want to deal with that stuff. My mom would be so upset at the trolls. She'd like want to yell at them all. But sorry to go off the rails there. But
that's okay. My mother is the same way. She's in her 80s and she's like, oh no.
Yeah, it's just I appreciate all the people that watch this guy Paul and all this guy Garth and all these different people that comment all the time. Carissa Eaton, that's not his real name. He uses his ex-wife's account, which is hilarious. But anyway, that was my side tangent, is that I'd rather have a smaller, better audience and group of people than a huge audience and just, not know any of them.
Right. And honestly, and so like, as I was saying before, I'm like, at the end of the day, that's where I'm at. Do I want to be 24/7 comic journalist? I would love that, and I would love to go on all these comic adventures and stuff. But like, I would not like take that over having a community that I've really grown to love and appreciate, people who can meet at cons and just like, and like, if you saw me at Heroes Con, I was hugging people left, right, and center. Knowing that now, I imagine Cliff's mom's yelling swears at me often. You can guarantee that, Mark of Legion of Comics. You can guarantee that. See, Bizzle, we love you too. And Marcus giving the love. I treat trolls like mushrooms. Keep them in the dark and give.
Well, I'm gonna say this. Another tangent there is that I did have a troll who jumped on one of my videos about a year ago and really wanted to get on me about the grading of my books and the grades I got and complaining about them. And by the time we were done going back and forth, he was thanking me for my channel and for commenting, and we were like best buds. And because instead of feeding them, I said, hey, you're not wrong. I sit here and I say, oh my God, I got terrible grades and I'm turning it into video content that people want to watch. I'm trying to find the silver lining if something goes bad. And we honestly had this long discussion where he started with jumping all over me and shitting all over me to, hey, that's great. I can't wait to watch your next video. And it was nice, you know?
And it can be. And listen, some people, I just feel like it's a communication style. You know, some people do want to just play the troll. But it's different. It's different things to different people all the time, you know? And also I gotta self-regulate, and I often do. But a lot of times I will just, like, last night I had like zero filter, just zero, you know, and I'm on a stream and I was like, well, I'm taking a word in edgewise, blah, 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 blah. Well, that's not the point you made. It is the point I made. If you actually understood what I was freaking saying. And I was like, anyhow, I'm like, I guess we're wrapping up. Bye, everybody. And I'm like, oh God, Clifford, self-regulation.
And that's why I was glad that you asked me to be on, because you have such a great personality and it's a lot of fun, you know. And
thank you. I'm glad you played YouTube catch up by watching a video or two of mine. You're like, what am I doing with this guy?
I just happened to be online last night getting a bunch of stuff ready, and on the left-hand side under subscriptions, it said Cliff was live, and I was like, oh, well, I should probably just click on that. So, Iraq, you were talking about Iraq, the comic.
Yes. So I put that together with JMed, because he, you know, I got his kit. I got the $100 bundle for Eric. Actually, it's just Eric. It just has that really special spelling. But what I really wanted was, you know, the Ivan Towel covers.
Beautiful covers. Yeah, I saw
right? Beautiful. You know, which also got me an ash can.
I signed ash can.
And then it got me a bunch of exclusive comics from his LCS, you know, like the Stan Lee bundle. So, you know, like, I was like, all right. I was like, this is great. I was like, more Kickstarters like this, please.
Yeah, it was a good score.
Absolutely. And so no, he's just great. Oh, this is so funny. Some people are just out there to be asked. Someone to express their opinion. Izzy never curses, so he even uses the dollar signs. I love that. And we have a show on Tuesday nights, Top Trending Comics, and it's great because Izzy does all the research and then just throws it at me, and then I come storming into my little office here, fresh from work, dinner, whatever. I'm like, all right, let's do this. And it'll be like, you know, Man Thing number 8. And I'm like, why the hell are we talking about Man Thing number 8? Who's buying Man Thing number 8? I don't even understand this. Why are we doing this right now? But my biggest one has been like the overpricedness of Absolute Batman number 1 is like scorching my brain, you know? Like, I'm like every one of you who overpaid for this, I'm like the regret is going to come sooner or later. Like, I'm like, it's too much. I'm not. I agree.
And what's funny is, so again, I'm for anybody who doesn't know this, I'm not a DC Comics person, which sounds like a lie because lately, almost, oh boy, oh, no. I saw Cracks in Time on there. Cracks in Time on there commenting. That's my buddy Rick. He's a great channel, by the way. Follow that. I'm not a big DC guy, but I saw the Absolute Batman was coming out, and there was honestly no buzz around it. There really wasn't. There just wasn't a buzz around. People were like, oh, great. This is like them trying to do, you know, Ultimate, you know, that Marvel does. Like, oh, do we need another Batman? There's 15 Batman books. And I happened to be at Newbury Comics, a chain up here in the Northeast and stuff like that. And they sell almost everything but comic books. You want Funko Pops? You got them. You want a million t-shirts? You got them. Comics are in a little corner. And I was in there and I saw all the Absolute Batmans, and they had come out like a week or two beforehand, and their shelves were loaded with them. Yeah. I got a couple of issue number 1s, regular cover. I got another one with like a Craig variant or something. I got a foil cover. There was no buzz around it. And my understanding is that the amount of issues they printed wasn't super high. And
no, but it was super high.
No, I don't think for Absolute it was.
Yeah, for Absolute Batman, it was over 250,000. I talk about this all the time.
Oh, right. But at this point, 500,000 is what they're all going at. You know, the big ones, Mark Spears, and
Well, yeah, but I know, but Mark Spears, like he hit his stride. You know, he the last year was his year of achievement, where it was like, oh my God, I've been doing this my whole life, and this year they love me, they really love me.
Now he's going to throw everything at you, but
like they made the announcement with Scott Snyder, the Absolute Universe is coming. Scott Snyder is leading. There was a lot of buzz. My LCS had a crap ton of this stuff. The Jim Lee covers, everything. I felt there was sufficient buzz. I feel if we're at the 250,000 mark plus in the year 2020 anything, I think that's huge for the modern era.
See, I feel that was the buzz that happened with Batman when Batman came out.
Yeah.
But for Absolute Batman, I didn't see that level of buzz.
Oh, let me tell you, it was happening. I still remember everybody being in the shop. I'm pretty sure I could find one of the old videos of me and the council being like, oh, we're all picking up Absolute Batman. And of course, I gave up on it on like issue 4 because I'm like, this is just never for me, right? And then like, look at this. Let's see here. Mark with his DC love and details. There were countless retailer exclusives for Absolute Batman 1. The rush at our LCS was insane too. See, Mark sees the rush at my LCS was crazy, and people trying to get that Jim Lee there. I mean, just everything. It was its own little feat to behold. But everything else you said was also valid. Like, yes, there was a lot of people going, oh, I think they're just trying to copy Ultimates. In the meantime, it has surpassed and crushed Ultimates at this point.
Oh, yeah.
You know, although I still love Ultimates. I'm enjoying it. But then, of course, they have a successful Spider-Man comic, so let's cancel it. What? Like, I can't with these people. Like, if I had the power to rip DC and Marvel away and make them their own entities again, like, I would do it in a heartbeat. You know, I was like, I'm done. I was like, let your be free of your corporate overlords. I can't stand them anymore. Can you tell I'm anti big corporations. Oh my God. Mark makes a good point. Most people online were clowning it though. He did a whole video on the pre-release. Yeah, betting against Snyder. And listen, I mean, I'm probably one of them because, you know, sometimes I feel he's a little overrated.
Well, I'm gonna agree with him. I bought it because I saw them coming out, and then I sort of looked at it and I was like, I opened it up and I didn't read it. I didn't read Absolute Batman, even though I bought it till maybe issue 8 came out, 6 or 7 or something like that. It just sat in a pile, and everybody started talking about how good it was. And it's again, the Ultimate Universe was my wheelhouse, so that was really hitting me hard, and I was paying attention to that. And Absolute Batman's just sat in a corner. I got a few of them graded and stuff like that, but I had to go back and read it because I just sat in a corner. I wasn't believing the hype in it, and I was definitely clowning on it, like you said, but I was wrong. It was good. It's good.
Yeah, no, they did well. They did. But again, still wasn't like I still was like not thrilled. Every time I think of the Bat Axe, I'm like, why?
Oh, you know? I hated that symbol. I was like, what is that? Now I love it. What is that all about?
You love it. Look
now
at that.
I love it.
Mark is also asking, have you checked out Wonder Woman, Absolute Superman, which, by the way, are my 2 favorites. They're my favorites.
I think Ultimate Wonder Woman's actually my favorite.
It's the best, right? It's the best.
It's whimsical. She's so badass, but so like naive. It's like charming because she's coming to this world like I know nothing about this world, and I'm learning. And I love the way they're writing her. I love that whimsical art. There's some beautiful covers. There's so much lore and mythology behind it that it is making it just amazing.
The thing that I really is yes, Dark Knight, whatever, Frank Miller. I don't care. Is he like I see it and I don't care. So like I see your comment. We're not doing it. All this Frank Miller over the top love. I'm not here for that either. And I should just do an episode where I review Frank Miller and John Romita stuff through the ages and just all my problems with all of it. And then I'll be like, oh, this one's really good. Let's look at the inker. Steve White, good morning. Kenneth Bird, good morning. All right. So as I was
everybody.
Yes, so such a good turnout. I appreciate you all. The Absolute Wonder Woman, you know, like Diana is birth of the gods. The gods made choices to bring her to life, right? And that part of her origin is I assume that is still part of her origin in the Absolute Universe, right? So what I love is that Diana's nature, despite all the changes of the absolute universe, Diana's nature is still the same underneath, because she still has all the qualities that were given to her, right? So and it's funny, Circe is like, in my opinion, especially in George Perez's opinion, Circe is her number one enemy in the regular DC universe, right? And here it's the woman who raised her.
Right.
And it's absolutely fascinating. So me being such a huge fan of Wonder Woman and what her typical story is like, I think the parallel here is beautifully, beautifully done.
Yeah, absolutely. Somebody had mentioned in the chat that Absolute Superman is underrated, and I agree, because I enjoy Absolute Superman. My only comment about it, my only thought as the first story arc sort of wrapped up, I'm like, doesn't this kind of parallel Absolute Batman at the same time? This massive over-the-top villain character that wants to make him either part of with him or like replace him. I just felt that maybe that story arc felt a little too similar to Absolute Batman. That was my only thought. It didn't take away from me enjoying it.
Well, you know? I actually think that it adds to the Absolute essence, because this is Darkside's universe, right? So everything is trying to unfold Darkside's plan, whether the people in action know that or not. Right. And so that's the way I took it, that, you have these similar scenarios because, the Darkseid created a universe to work against them, and let's see how this goes for you. I mean, we got Absolute Green Arrow and the dude was murdered almost immediately.
Right.
It was like, no, I really want to be a good guy. Yep. You're going to pay for that. Shink.
Yep. Yeah. But I love that.
Yeah, no, it's really good. Also, I love that Veronica Cale is Wonder Woman's Lex Luthor. Like, first of all, Veronica Cale is Wonder Woman's Lex Luthor. I love her, and she's terribly underused. In the series 52, the 52-week series, right? Yeah. Veronica Cale is one of the lead scientists that run off to that island, and Veronica Cale is the one that gets the island sanctioned for sovereignty. Right? I'm like, oh my God, my bitch. But then they don't properly use her ever again. It's so annoying. And so that just goes back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. Absolute Universe is meant to be a hopeless world. Yeah, I know. And yet we still have people who inspire hope, like Superman. I'm looking at Izzy's comments. Yeah, anyhow, I'm enjoying Absolute more than I ever thought I would, even though the Batman stuff is just over the top. Maybe it's too satirical for me. I'm not 100% sure. I'm enjoying Jang and Warren Johnson. 2 thumbs up.
I'm enjoying the Absolute Universe, and I have 2 thoughts on that. And I'm mirroring somebody else's thought. They said it to me, and I sort of adopted their opinion. I said, these are fantastic. I don't read Batman. I don't read Superman. I don't read Wonder Woman in the regular DC universe. I've tried. I just don't like them. These are amazing. And someone said, why not? Why wouldn't you have just taken these stories and these writers and just done it with the regular one? Why did you need a separate universe to do it? And I was like, and I had to sit with that for a while to think about it, but I do get it. And I kind of like it as a different universe, but I do get that. In my opinion, I'm like, oh my, this is the best Batman I've ever read. Well, why didn't you just take that and put it into the regular Batman and make the regular Batman good? Because I don't care what anybody says. I don't think the regular Batman's great. It's just
Detective Comics is great.
So I don't read that. I don't read that. So
no one talks about it. Detective Comics is great and nobody talks about it.
So my second problem is my worry about what happened with the first Ultimate Universe. The first Ultimate Universe it was great. Ultimate Fantastic Four, the first arcs, if you guys have never read that, it is fantastic. That's even where we got Marvel Zombies. Like, that was a good storyline. The Ultimates, like Ultimate Spider-Man at the beginning of that universe was great. And then all the writers changed, the artists changed, the directions changed, and it all became a giant turd. And that's my worry, is that these people are going to build these universes like the new Absolute and the new Ultimate Universe, and then abandon them, and they're going to be like, it's going to look like somebody, an 8-year-old is drawing them, and AI is writing them. That's my only worry, is can they keep up that consistency over time? That's it.
Okay, again, Mark is calling me a liar for no reason. I'm sorry because I didn't credit him. Mark is the owner of the concept that Detective Comics is really good, and if I share that opinion and I don't credit him the way that young pop stars credit Taylor Swift, the lawyers are going to come for me. So I'm really sorry. I'm just letting you know, Legion of Comics and Mark, that he has been the ultimate champion of telling people to read Detective Comics since 2019. Please go over to Legion of Comics and get your fill of DC shill. You will love it.
I did hear Batman and Robin is a fantastic book, but I didn't read that.
Oh yeah, like that was a sleeper hit of the year. That was just one of those books that apparently people were buying and reading, and then other people discovered it after the fact. Like, this is good. Who knew? And I'm like, yeah, isn't that great when you're reading stuff because it's a good read, you know?
Swift.
I'm sorry. And in the Canadian region of Detective Comics love, don't forget Chris the Comic Vet also talking about his love of Detective Comics since 2019. So now, Chris the Comic Vet. Yeah, oh, he's a great guy. Well, of course you do. You've done Only Slabs, my man. You've done.
We're all heavy metal buddies now.
We are. Oh, I'm not a heavy metal buddy. I'm sorry. Especially when Jeff Loeb. Yeah, listen. I don't know how people like. I listen. I love Jeff Loeb, right? But I mean, like, I really feel like his writing has just never been the same. Like, since after Batman, after Superman, Batman. And I mean Hush before that, but like after that, I just feel like it's just been a steady decline.
The well ran dry.
The well ran dry. And there's other things that he's done that, like, he's done Marvel television production, things like that. But like every time he goes to write, I'm so disappointed. And Hush too. Like, I was like, okay, this is just bringing the money, but it's just some people are loving it for the absurdity, and again, I have a hard time. I can't love it for the absurdity. I'm not digging it.
It's so late. I don't even remember what the story is anymore.
Well, for Hush too, yeah, I don't remember what the story is. I remember everything I don't hate about it. I was like, there's no way in hell that Damian is grabbing Bane to team up with him to help his dad. He knows damn well this is the man responsible for Alfred's death. They talk about Alfred's death briefly in the freaking story. Makes no sense. Jason Todd's evolution. Jason Todd acts like he was resurrected last week, which is ridiculous. Like it's like they gave him cliff notes on who these characters should be, and he just started writing the story like Hush finished 2 days ago, and just terrible. Oh my God, Travis, thank you for showing up. Good morning. Good morning.
Also, keep Alfred dead. Keep Alfred dead.
Yo, that's one thing they've done really well. Like, they've kept out, and his legacy constantly lives on. Like, I love that Dick Grayson had that monument erected for him, in honor of him. I love Dick Grayson. I love Dick Grayson Millionaire. He's like, look, I have money and I'm going to do nice things for people. And I'm like, yes, isn't that nice? Isn't it nice to read that story once in a while? Look,
well, that's funny because somebody had the perspective of, if Bruce Wayne is a billionaire, and he's fighting crime to make Gotham a better place and the world a better place, they're like, shouldn't he be funneling his money into better programs and pulling people out of poverty? There'd be less crime. And I get that he's fighting supervillains.
And in Steve Orlando's Justice League of America, he had Vixen call him out on that.
Oh, interesting. I love that.
Yeah, and because there was this community in New Jersey, and basically they got roped into making super weapons, right? And they were almost like, and so like they rescued them, but the people in the community are like, how are we going to support ourselves? Right. And Vixen is there, and she goes, listen, I understand what's been done here, and we're going to do everything I can to help. And Batman's standing 2 feet away from her, right? And she's like, we're going to do everything we can to help. She's like, I will send my foundation here, and where I come, others will follow, like the Wayne Foundation. And I was like, and and I love it. And like, I just, it's funny because like I go back and forth with people on Steve Orlando's writing, but he does capture a lot of like tone. Like Vixen would do that, right? Like Vixen has become a little bit of a celebrity in the DC universe. No one's really writing her. So when we do peek in on her, every time somebody writes about her, we're peeking in on her and where she is now, but no one's actually writing the adventures. So like there was like, she was on a TV show. She was talking about how she was trying to do community engagement. She meets a little girl who's like, I saw you, I wrote to you, I reached out to you. I never heard back from you, you know? And she's devastated. She's like, oh my God, she's like, I will make sure this never happens again, you know? As she rescues that kid and sees what the kid's environment has turned into. And this kid was like reaching out to her for help all along. And again, this is what I'm drawn to sometimes in superhero stories. You know, I like a strong moral core, but I also like that there are real world trappings, you know. Vixen's no more of a scumbag because, you know, she has a small business empire, but she's still out there playing superhero. Again, we just need more writers who write and stick to it, you know. Oh, let's see, Taylor Winder. If Orlando ever learned how to write an interesting story, he'd be deadly. Have you read his Shadow and Batman? I think that one's pretty good. And also, I'm happy with his Scarlet Witch work, but whatever. Listen, you're a Bronze Age nerd. I'm a lover of all times and places. I asked one question on the thumbnail, and that was, what is the reality of the Bronze Age key? Right? So what makes a Bronze Age book a key, in your opinion?
That's a great question. What makes a Bronze Age key? Okay. So for the viewers here, I don't know any of this in advance, you know, so I'm getting hit with this right now. So this is the stalling part where you have people do, whereas they repeat the question back to you. This is the longest Randy has remained silent. Oh, okay. That's right. You stall for time thinking by repeating the question back to them. Yeah. The longer the Bronze Age key. I don't know why a key from the Bronze Age would be much different than in general a key. I mean, first appearances are obviously always going to be key. It doesn't matter what age it is. It's a first appearance. I think what gets dicey in the Bronze Age, and maybe this is going off on a different tangent, is I think the Bronze Age is where we started getting into splitting hairs about what a first appearance is. What's a cameo and what's a real appearance? And I think that goes even into the Bronze Age with the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Well, they appeared on one panel in an advertisement in this book. They appeared in this. What's their real first appearance? What's Spawn's first appearance? I know that's getting to modern age. Is it in Malibu's Sun? Is it in Spawn? Where is it? And I think we just started, because we had started getting in the Bronze Age to be more of a collector mindset than a reader's mindset. And I know there was Comic-Cons and collectors before that. But once you got into the Bronze Age in the 70s, it became a different game. There's kids who were reading comics who didn't stop reading them. It was the first big generation of kids who were grown-ups now reading books. And books needed to become more grown-up. And they started putting them in bags and boards. And they started collecting. They started looking for things that were more collectible. It wasn't just like first Riddler, first Spider-Man, first this. The keys started becoming more different. The first, Batgirl gets shot. I know that's not Bronze Age, but the idea of, I think the key difference in keys could not only just be first appearances, but first incidents, first, first certain storylines and key events.
Cover appearances. Appearances.
That was a big thing. What's the first cover appearance of Venom? People started caring about that stuff. So I think the Bronze Age is what it was. First, 180 is the first appearance of Wolverine, for all those who don't know what he's talking about. Hulk 180. By the way, just as a spoiler, I bought a copy of Hulk 180, a very high grade from High Grade Keys. He's always a collector looking for high grade books and looking to get rid of books to buy more high grade stuff if you're ever looking. And he's a funny dude and I like him.
Oh, that's good. And yeah, I was gonna say, I know your love of Hulk 181, and I was wondering if you're a 180 or 181 guy. You're clearly a 180 guy, you know.
I'm not. So I'm a 181 guy.
Oh,
I disagree with High Grade Keys, but I do get it. So again, we didn't have before the Bronze Age parsing of splitting hairs or whatever it is well, what institutes a cameo? Wolverine just wasn't in the shadows. I mean, we think of a cameo as, you know, they're the character, the villain, the hero is in the shadows and half there for one little panel. Wolverine's on a whole page and comes out and talks to you. How is that not a first appearance? But the reality is, in 181, he's on the cover, and it's the story about him. And that's what people lean towards, because that's also, I think, when covers became, and that's another thing, a part of the what Bronze Age keys and what makes them important or different is like cover appearances and covers. But I'm going to tell you my funny story real quickly, and there's no way you're going to be able to stop me, because once I get talking, they'll tell you. I had been looking for a 181 for a while. Mid-grade, something fairly cheaper and everything like that. And there's a great local store. It's now down in Lawrence, Massachusetts. And it's, well, what the hell is the name of the store? I keep thinking of their convention. They do the convention in Concord, New Hampshire, Little Giant Comics. And he has collectibles. He does not sell new comics. He just sells classic comics, toys, action figures, war memorabilia, movie posters. The store is amazing. Go find Little Giant. But he does the big old school Comic-Con in Concord, New Hampshire, and Jason and his whole family do it. And they're like, we don't care about cosplay contests. We don't care about anything except comics. Just it's old school Comic-Con. There's comic writers, comic artists, and comic selling. None of this other stuff. We're not doing movie premieres and stuff like that. But I was in the store. Jason at the store just got in a collection of books, and he let me look through them. And he had a 181 raw, and it was in decent mid to lower grade. And I asked him, I said I'd be interested in. He goes, well, I've got a buddy of mine coming to the store, and he's going to look them over first. So I milled around in store. The store's beautiful, so I just spent time there. This guy showed up, Comic Carl, I call him, and he started looking through the books. And I was like waiting for like the scraps. What was there going to be left over once Carl started buying this stuff? And the comic store owner was like, yeah, this is like a 5 or a 5.5. And Carl looked it over and he says, I'm not interested in buying these. These are a little low for me. And I met him and started talking to him. And he says, also, I think this book is more like a 4. And the comic store owner said, oh, well, you know, Carl knows his shit. And if you're interested, because Carl's not, if you'd like to buy this. And we negotiated a price. I got a good price on it. And then I got it graded, and I think it came in a 5.5. So I'm eternally grateful to High Grade Keys for not grading that as high as it actually was. I think he was doing me a solid there. But that's how I got into that book. It wasn't cheap, but I definitely got it for a good steal there. So there was my little tale of getting that book.
Listen, I find the best you can do is when people just grade under the curve.
You have to, because you just never know.
Right. And you, as you should. But I will, I mean, I don't want to like over shout out my comic shop online, but like I will give it to them. Every time I pick something up from them, it always looks better than they said. Like I've gotten a fine 5.5 for them, and then it shows up in my hand, and I'm like, okay, this looks like a 7 or an 8, maybe. I was like, it's really pretty. The colors are really solid. The spine isn't nearly as warped as I imagined.
I've made a whole channel out of getting my grades wrong and grading them too high in my head.
Yes. Well, right. I don't believe in self-grade. And mostly when I send stuff in, it's just because I want it slabbed. And then if the grade is good after, it's like wonderful. And if it's not, I still sent in the collectible I wanted. You know,
right. If I was trying to flip books or sell them, it would probably worry me more, but I only send books in that I want to get graded. Do I send in books because I get too excited and I'm like, yeah, grade all of these? You know, I probably shouldn't grade a lot of them. And I'm okay with, especially if they're modern books, because it's cheaper to grade and I have an elite membership. But still, sometimes I feel like I'm throwing the money in the trash just to get them graded, even though they're not top grade. But I still enjoy them and still love them, you know?
Of course. Well, and again, why you should. And if you were doing this more for the flip, right? Then yes, I think that you have to, then you should look really hard. Like break out the freaking magnifying glass and check that spine and rub off any freaking fingerprints or any, like put the, like you got to put a little extra work in before you like wrap it up and send it off. You know, get your archival wrappers ready.
Yeah. You know? Oh, you mean like when I didn't look through my Silver Surfer #1 to see that there was a coupon cut out?
Yeah. Oh, wait. Really, really bad scenario. This happened to me at Terrificon a few years ago. My friend buys Batgirl's first appearance from a dude, right?
Ooh, good book. I want that.
And he didn't open it or anything, right? And we stopped at some table somewhere, whatever. And he opens it up, and there are pieces of the book missing. So we go back to the guy, right? And then, fortunately, the guy did not give him a hard time, you know?
Yeah.
He was like, dude, I understand. You want
But
your money.
Could have said, could have said that was on you. You should have looked at the book.
He could have. And the guy made a face when my friend came back to show him the book. He made a face. But they opened it up, they looked at it together, and his face changed. And he kind of was like, and he could have even said, oh, you swapped. He could have been one of those guys who like, how do I know you didn't swap this book?
Yeah, you don't know that.
But the guy looked at it, and the face changed from like, what do you want to, okay, well, how would you like to settle this? Yep. You know? And anyhow, so like it came down to the story was complete, the cover was in good shape, so he just gave my friend half his money back.
Oh, and he kept the book. Okay.
And my friend kept the book, you know? And so he had it submitted for a blue label, right?
Yeah.
And it came back a 1.5.
A 1.5 blue. So I've had books that were incomplete that came back blue label, lower grade. Yes. I had that with a Superman, and like Superman 49, because they were like, it didn't affect the story. You know, it was on an advertisement page, so they didn't ding me on that. I was lucky with that.
Yeah, and also
over deliver.
Yeah. Oh yeah, absolutely. But if you, I was gonna say, but you know, if they actually read the notes when you are like entering information and stuff, you know, like they'll do well. And you know, people give me a hard time. One of my very first times submitting to CGC, I put a note in the box. I put a note in the little thing on the website. I'm like, hey, I want this book. Please acknowledge this book, XYZ, right? Comes back, no notes, no nothing. And I was so pissed. And it came back a 9.8. So I mean, like, I guess, right? But I was so mad. It was like no cover appearance note, no first appearance note, no nothing. And I was like, why did I write all these notes? Why did I put all these notes everywhere? So I was a little unhappy. But since then, I have found in more recent transactions where I've made a note, somebody's actually paid attention. And
good.
Thank you, you know? But also, y'all are really testing me over there. And so you know, it's so funny. Like now, I just poo-poo like everybody, like all the graders, because I was like, they're all run by hedge funds. I don't care. There's no humans anymore. It's a hedge fund making these freaking decisions. I was like, so the game is on. The game is on. I'm like, I don't care. If I want a stronger slab, PSA. If I want my stuff to be part of the CGC registry, CGC. If I want like somebody just to authenticate that I have 17 signatures on Action Comics 1000, CBCS. That's it. Those are my decisions.
I like the fact that I like CBCS is clear about their process. As far as I understand, again, somebody can correct me. It's they'll tell you that they have 3 different independent graders that grade it separately, and then they just average the grade or something like that. Like, I like that you can see inside the black box to know what their process is. I don't know what CGC's is. And that's a problem, I think.
And the thing is, we used to know what CGC was. It used to be transparent, right? And then, of course, they became hedge fund property, and everything got less transparent.
I came so late to the game for CGC that I don't know that. I only have been grading books for 2 years. I actually didn't even know a thing about graded books until 2 years ago. I literally knew nothing. I didn't care. I didn't pay attention. My comic shop never had graded books, so I never really saw them. It was a new thing for me, which is the reason I even started my channel, was because I got my first batch of books graded, and the guy who pressed them and submitted them for me said, my buddy Comic Tom, he said, hey, you should film that. By the way, that's my origin story. Hey, you should film that. And I filmed that, and here I am, hundreds of views later, on my channel from that.
But, I was gonna say, Tom is such a great self-motivated person, and it could rub off on you. You know, you could just like, you could film that, and you're like, and I believe it too. I'm like, yes. You know, I love. Tom's like, do it now. You're like, yes, I will. Oh, I should rope him and Ryan into being here someday. I feel like that would be super chaotic Puerto Rican energy between me and Tom. Like, you know, it would be like, that's it. I'll have a Gran Combo playing in the background, and I'll get nerfed by the algorithm. It'll be great. Damn, what were my other questions for you? What am I
Bronze Age Randy? No, Bronze Age Bill.
No. Oh my God, Bronze Age Bill is your brother, right?
He is. That's what I call him.
All right, that was my next question. I watched one video of the two of you. It was like so beautiful that I was like losing it. And I was like, look at them collecting and their brothers, and like, oh my God, like I'm so jealous. And I was just like, this is so beautiful. We should all have this in our comic book collecting lives. But yeah, like, you know, I mean, I have met other people who are brothers who collect together, and it's adorable, and I love every second of it. I see you, Jim, and I see you, John. And so is it more fun when you're out there collecting with your brother, you know, hitting, you know, haggling, wheeling, dealing, you know, jumping through comic book bins? Like,
so my brother stopped collecting a long time ago, and he did one of those things, like my friend Greg and his brother did, is that my brother stopped collecting. It's not that he didn't love reading comic books. He was really doing music and stuff, and he just had other stuff going on. And he basically said, here's all my comics. I don't even want them anymore. And then slowly over time, we gave some of them back over time. And he wanted some back. Hey, could I get those Daredevils back? Hey, could I get those back? Hey, could I get those Indiana Jones books back and stuff? So what he does now is he'll actually doesn't collect. He actually reads the books that I pass on to him. Hey, you should read this trade. Matter of fact, I think in our last video, I even gave him some books to read. I actually have the absolute trades for Wonder Woman and Superman for him to read. So he's sort of trickle down economics, speaking of hedge funds and corporations. He's trickle down comic books at this point. You know, he's got 2 kids and he's working full time, and he's, you know, he does all these things. He's in plays, he's writing his books, he's doing so many things. So he sort of just by osmosis gets into comics with me, and he's just again with me learning about slabbing. We have a video where he got his first book slab. He didn't know anything about it. So we haven't been that brothers at the comics book store since we were much younger, but we were in a comic book club in middle school. We were going to the comic book store when we were 10, 11 years old, and again going through the 50-cent bins where the cover's half missing because they sent it back for, you know, discount or whatever. And we were buying those books. We were at the spinner racks when we were, you know, 8, 9 years old. So we had a good history of it, but he fell out of it in the probably early 90s. He never got to the 90s, I don't think. But it's nice that he's back and wants to be part of it again with me, reading books and learning about them again. So that's so.
I listen. I love it for you, because it's just nice to have. It's just nice to have friends or family, you know, in the with you.
If he didn't live, he lives like with traffic, it could be 2 hours away, but an hour and a half away. Otherwise, you know, I'd have him on all the time, because I do, you know, it's funny is people have looked at us over time, whether me with long hair and he likes to wear suits and short hair, and we just look different. We have a lot of different interests, and we're different in so many ways. Like I think obviously a lot of siblings are, but we're so alike and we're so best friends that I love doing anything with him. We did a road trip to go see Metallica in Montreal. We did a road trip to see Rage Against the Machine in New York. It was actually their last show they ever played. And we, you know, you'd see us and we just look, you know, like we might be different personalities and people, but honestly, when we're together, we're absolute best friends. And I'd have him on all the time in my show because we just have a blast together.
That is, anyhow, I just think it's great. And it's funny, like, I you know, like every time I'm at a show, it's always it's a hodgepodge of like, who are you with? You know, and I'm like, oh, my friend Dave. And they're like, do we know him? I'm like, no, you don't. He's just my buddy, you know? And like, and we'll just show up and just be jumping around. I like how you said, how you doing, back to Tony. I love me some Tony. But like we're just like, you know, like Dave is the one, and he'll be like, you know, did you find anything? I'm like, Dave, there's a stack of Black Widows that I've been making for you right here. Go. Like I'll make my stack, but like at the bottom, I'm putting Black Widow for him, you know, so that way he can at least like take a look at it and be like, yeah, now I have all these. Oh, that one's garbage. Oh, this one's pretty. And then he'll do shit like to me. He'll be like, Cliffy, there is this $125 original sketch of Superman over here, and I really think you need to see it. And then I'm like, damn it, I didn't need to see this. I didn't want to drop 125. I'm like, and here you go, sir.
Yeah. You know, for me, I am torn on cons like that because like I went to a con with high grade keys in the comments here watching the video. And we had a great time going around. We had a great time going around looking at things. He would be, you know, he knew I was looking for something. He'd say, hey, let's go try this booth over here. He was trying to sell some books. And at the same time, sometimes when I go to a con, I don't want to be on other people's schedules. I don't want to be at others. I want to just be by myself and do my own thing. But honestly, I had a lot of fun when I'm like at a con with a real good comic-based person that's, like you said, looking out for you, like, hey, check this out, or you might like these, or whatever it is. So,
Exhibit A, everybody.
That's beautiful.
It is really, really nice guy. I forgot his name, but we can find him on Instagram. Rob G. Is it Rob G Art? Something like that. I know it is, but anyhow, it's beautiful. And when I saw it, I'm like, damn, I gotta buy this. So I was like, it just goes to show. And so like this box right next to me is just this con box. So this dude had actually not just some dude, Very Gary Comics at Terrificon.
Oh, Very Gary, yeah, sure.
Yeah, Very Gary had $75 fill a short box.
Oh, interesting.
And I filled 3 with Big Gary rooting me on the entire time. You know, Big Gary was there, like, come on, Cliff, we can fit more in here. Come on. And I'm like, oh my God. And I started box number 4 and I was out of money. Like I gave him 3 credit cards. There was nothing left. You know, my debit card, there was nothing left. I have 1 emergency card for gas and gas only. So like, that was it. I was like, nope, that's the good card. I can't hand over the good card, you know? And look, poor T-Bizzle. I haven't been to a Comic-Con since pre-COVID. My God, T-Bizzle, my God, come on! Like,
I don't want to be at a Comic-Con that's super busy, and it could have been residual from COVID times. So it's interesting they say that because, again, I went up to old school Comic-Con, but that's not slammed. But I haven't been to any of the Boston Comic-Cons. I haven't been to San Diego Comic-Con. I haven't been to any big cons since before COVID. I'm just kind of just do the little Manchester one, which again, they're well attended, but you're not slammed. You're at some of these and you're just slammed with people. You can't even get to tables.
I feel really, so Saturdays obviously are very busy at Terrificon, but I never feel slammed, right? I never feel like, oh no, I'm going to die here.
Yeah.
Near Comic-Con, definitely I feel like, oh my God, I could die here. This is bad. Like the bad, I could die here. Not that, oh my God, I could die here. Like, no, it's like, oh no, I could die here, right? And also New York Comic-Con, with the exception of Artist Alley, New York Comic-Con doesn't give me the experience that I'm looking for.
Right.
You know, Baltimore does. Heroes Con did and does. Terrificon does, you know? And Heroes Con is truly, 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 truly comic books, right?
That's the one. Is that the one in North Carolina?
Yes, it is.
That's the one I want to go to because High Grade Keys moved back down south where he's from. And he was like, hey, maybe we meet halfway. You come down from the Northeast. I come up from the South and we meet at Heroes Con. So that is a goal of mine.
I think you should. Should we do this? Should we grab Izzy? Are you okay with, like, you know, should I rent the Chevy Tahoe? You come down to here. You come down to the Poughkeepsie region, hop in. We ride. We
road trip.
We road trip. It's like, how many fucking YouTubers you got up in there? I'm like, we got everybody. I'm like, we came to shop, bitches. I got my cart in the back. That's another thing. Terrificon this year, I make lots of jokes about it. I became a cart person, a wagon person. At one point, I'm like, look at me, I'm a wagoneer. So you know how people drag the little wagon behind them at Comic-Cons, right?
Yeah.
So I used to hate that. I was like, oh my God, what are you doing? And then I was like, well, maybe it's convenient. And then I had to carry my short box back to the car. The first of my
wish you had a wagon.
And when I got there, I see this old man coming with his cart. Where did you get that? Oh, there's a Walmart about 9 miles away. And I'm like, oh my God. And I'm by the way, not even 9 miles. It was 9 minutes. And I was there. And I'm like, I need one of these. They're like, well, there might be one in our camping section.
The collapsible carts. Home Depot has them for like $60. At my work, one of the IT guys in my work has his own. He brought his own in, a collapsible cart. And that's how he brings computers and stuff around. So he's like, I'm just going to cart it around. I don't want to carry this stuff or put it on a rolling chair.
Let me tell you, when I went back for the rest of my stuff, oh my God. And Dave was like, you got a wagon? I was like, look, Dave, I even have giant Coke in the pockets. This is amazing. Like I sold out and converted so fast, right? And by the way, I was so at one point I sat on this bench because I was just, heaving and breathing, and everyone's like, are you okay? Whenever I'm like, I'm fine. And I'm like taking pictures with people, but really I'm just trying to take a break because I'm carrying this goddamn box and my bag, mind you, right? And I'm like, I gotta get to the car. But that's it. I was in the parking lot, saw the dude, took off. Then when I came back, most of the parking was closed, right? So then I had to drive around to where the employee gas station is for the casino and cut through there to drive into the exit to because you couldn't come in. They had shut the freaking gate down and everything. I drove in through the exit to find myself parking, which I did, but now I had my wagon. So it wasn't as bad as before, right? I was like, well, I lost. And they also shut the gate down on the hotel one. So I lost my spot where I originally was. And I went in there and I got the wagon. And anyhow, when I'm leaving with Dave's like, where'd you park? I'm like, I'm all the way out there, but it's so great. Look at me. I got the cart. I'm a wagoneer. It's so great. Look at this. Kingdom Nerds just got the collapsible cart. I know you did, Bruce. I know you did. All right. So I did ask you to bring comics. So we're going to start with a recent comic, and we're going to go for the pull-up. There we go. Oh, look at you.
You're going to get two. You're going to get two.
I don't care that I'm going to get two. I'm excited. Tell me about Dynamite.
So Dynamite was a cartoon.
No. Yeah, I was going to say, I know Dynamite and Blue Falcon are a cartoon, but I want to know.
Dynamite and Falcon were a cartoon, and I love that Dynamite is buying up all these Hanna-Barbera properties, and I've reviewed them on my Randy's Rundown. I sort of try to do a weekly-ish show where I talk about books that I've read. Again, it's never going to be super up-to-date because I buy them, I pull them, buy them, and then I have to read them, so you hear about it a week or two later. But they're doing, the Herculoids, and Dynamite and a whole bunch of these stuff right out of my childhood. And Dynamite was one that was a little weird. I never super fell in love with it. I always felt like it was sort of a Batman ripoff with a weird dog. And in the 1970s, everybody had to have some type of dog type sidekick or whatever. And of course, it's a robotic dog. And in the cartoon, you never really got much background. So I started reading Blue Falcon and Dynamite, and it's a little mix of little goofy over the top, and they've got a sort of a running storyline. I'll show you the artwork in it. It's actually not even bad artwork. I'll just hold it up there or whatever. It's pretty decent. But the reason I pulled Black Falcon and Dynamite is this book can take some dark turns. Like this is Dynamite, just this right here is a guy's face on fire. And the fact that you've got these little kid cartoon properties and you're now getting dark with them. Like Dynamite is like, oh, you are the one who, so the background is Dynamite was his dog. And then these guys try to kill the dog, and Blue Falcon was able to bring him back and turn him to this cybernetic dog. And now the dog is on a rampage. The dog is like, you're the one who cut my arms off. I'm going to burn you to death. And it's so jarring for this childhood.
Dynamite, no.
Dynamite. And like, I'm going to straight up murder this guy. So they're sort of taking this like, Blue Falcon talked like this in the day and you did the right thing, Dynamite. And now he's like, yeah, all right, well, my dog murdered someone. So, I'm going to let that go.
But yeah, but he murdered a terrible human being. So that's
he did. He did.
Right.
So that was the first one. My review of that is the same as the Herculoids and the other books. Is I all think they're space ghosts, and there's one with I haven't got to it yet. I've been piling up the issues, but Space Ghost and Johnny Quest.
Mm-hmm. Oh, so the Space Quest?
Space Quest, but I haven't read it yet. I'm on season 2 of the Space Ghost comic book. I just started it.
Season two of Space Ghost is before or after Space Quest?
Yeah, I don't know because I haven't started either of them
and
yet.
You know what's really funny? I thought all the Hanna-Barbera stuff was under DC.
I don't know. It's Dynamite.
No, I know Dynamite's doing it, but I'm wondering if DC's like, hey, we're not doing anything, so if you pay us for the license, go to town with it.
It's possible because they just had the Elvira Harley Quinn crossover with Dynamite and DC. So it very well could be sharing the properties and doing it like that, keeping the residual money in the whatever, but letting somebody else do all the heavy lifting would be a smart way of doing it. But I find all of the books pretty good. There's nothing that you're going to be like, wow, this is like Mac Fraction writing or something like that. It's definitely, Thundar is coming. I actually mentioned that in one of my upcoming videos because of the advertisements there. I do love Thundar, and I'm excited for all of them because I'm getting the nostalgia hit. But if you walked in and never read or never watched the Herculoids, I don't know what you would think of the comic. You might be like, what is this? This is weird. Shirt Tails comic book. I completely agree. We need the Shirt Tails. We need Snorks. There's a lot of properties that I think we should take advantage of.
DC does own the Hanna-Barbera library, which also includes Dexter from Dexter's Lab, which was folded in. And other people are printing because they are licensed out, such as Scooby-Doo, Flintstones, Jetsons, etc. So yes, they own the Flintstones, they own the Jetsons, they own Scooby-Doo, Yogi Bear, Fred Flintstone, Johnny Quest, Dexter, and others. But that's the basic explanation. But hey, good on Dynamite.
Right. And I agree, good on Dynamite. But what's funny is you mentioned the Jetsons. Imagine if you were watching, you love the Jetsons, and you started reading the comic book, and George Jetson's like, you know what, Mr. Spacely, you can go fuck yourself and then kill. Like, that's how jarring it is to see Dynamite murder somebody. That's why I pulled this.
Well, I saw one of the variant covers where Dynamite is like, it looks like he's an elongated dragon, like shooting flames out of his mouth. And I'm like, is Dynamite killing somebody? And you're just confirming it. You're like, oh, yeah, he absolutely is.
He was killing someone. And the side quest I want to do here is really quickly is Johnny Quest, because Johnny Quest was a serious cartoon. And of course, I'm not old enough to have seen it in real time, but I did see it in syndication in the 1970s. And my brother Bronze Age Bill and I loved it. It was like literally our favorite cartoon. It was like James Bond meets cartoons and everything like that. Johnny Quest, the cartoon, I'm pretty sure it was in prime time as well. The Flintstones was the first cartoon to ever be in prime time.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure Johnny Quest is in prime time, and it was a smash hit. Kids loved Johnny Quest, and it lasted one season because it was so dark and it was so violent that parent groups complained, and it got canceled after one season. And it didn't get canceled because it wasn't good or wasn't popular. It got canceled because it was terrifying. And let me tell you, my biggest nightmare when I was a kid that I still remember to this day, 50 years later, was from a Johnny Quest cartoon. So parent groups were probably right, but I still loved it. You watch that. It is a creepy, scary cartoon. And the little kid who did Johnny Quest's voice was Otter in Animal House, the main character in Animal House. And then he was in the Brady Bunch, second Brady Bunch movie. He was the guy pretending to be Carol Brady's husband. Yeah. Yes. Anyway, that was my side quest. Let me know I'm good to do my second comic.
No, of course you're allowed to do your second comic. I'm the one who what do you call it? I'm the one who commandeered. I was like, oh, I see Blue Falcon Dynamite.
Snagglepuss. Heavens to Murgatroyd.
Yo, that Snagglepuss one that DC did, where he was basically very theatrical, like, oh, I've got my wife and she lives over there, and then I go do my gay shit over here. That Snagglepuss was fantastic. It was very Tennessee Williams Snagglepuss, and I loved it. Obviously, I'm the only one, but still.
Because I've never even heard of it.
Yeah, exactly. But like, I thought it was great.
Well, I brought a second book here, and I talk about it in one of my recent videos. Make sure, if you guys don't mind, subscribe to my channel, Swarm Comics, hopefully, obviously, and I hope you enjoy
It's in the description already. I put everything in the description. Follow him on Instagram. Follow him on YouTube. Do all the things, people.
And if you don't, that's okay, too. So this book is Arcadia. Ignition Press is a new company, and I've tried out a few of their titles, and I like one of them called Deluge, which is about a giant historic flooding a woman's prison, and giant sea monsters now starting to invade the prison and kill them. And if you like women in prison movies and monsters, read Deluge. I tried Voyeur, and I thought it was an interesting concept, but I haven't really picked it back up. But I picked up the first 2 issues of Arcadia. The book is a futuristic post-apocalyptic world. I know, stop me if you've heard that story before.
I know.
I feel like it's a mix of, why am I blanking on the TV show that they remade? Westworld.
Oh, yeah.
So imagine Westworld. If you've seen Westworld, you know they have this giant corporation has made these parks with all these androids that, humans can interact with, like an amusement park, and everything goes wrong. And the first season is amazing. The second season's okay. Third season's weird. Fourth season.
No, the third season. My problem is the third season. The third season went off the rails. They're like, we're leaving the park. We're going to the real world, everybody. And we're gonna answer shit. Like,
right. And I. In retrospect, I liked it better than when I first watched it. But first and second seasons are unbelievable to watch. Yeah. But that's similar to this, except imagine all the humans are gone. Imagine all the humans are gone and you just have the robots left over. And if you ever watch Westworld, you know that the robots, all of their personality and information is in a little pearl that they can open up and get out of the androids. They do that in here, and they even call them pearls. And I was like, that's pretty ballsy. But it's a post-apocalyptic world, and our humans are all gone, and the leftover androids, we'll call them, they call them, they have another word for them, not servants, for savants or something like that. And they're trying to figure out what is their place in this world and what is going on. And they've got these mutants that they're fighting off. It's a mix of Westworld. It's a mix of almost anime. It's a pretty interesting, it's only 2 issues in, but I highly recommend this as sort of an independent, different book that's not the big 2 or the big 3 if you want to count Image Comics. So that's why I wanted to recommend that one. I like the artwork. I like the story. They've even got a little bit of a Memento, the movie thing thrown in there. Like one of the androids is losing his pearl. He's been around long enough that he's starting to, every day when he wakes up, he doesn't remember things, and he leaves himself notes to remember who people are and what's going on. So it's an interesting mix of stuff. Yes, Cliff.
You're really funny, Isolated Antagonist. You're really funny. Oh, look, Old Wolf subbed, and so did Kingdom of Nerds. I love it. I love it. All right, I was so mad when I was like, wait, why don't I have you on Instagram? Like the first thing I do when I'm stalking my guest is like I throw you on Instagram.
And Instagram became it was recommended for me to get on, and there are some good aspects, but it quickly became a ghost town for me. I've realized that I'm probably not spending enough time utilizing it properly, and I didn't look at it from the perspective of communication, because you can't communicate on YouTube. There's no chat on YouTube. So I'm finding now that my to reach out to channels and talk to them, and people will go to my YouTube channel and watch, and then find me on Instagram and message me, and I'm not always checking, and I'm like, oh, I'm sorry, but now I keep it open because that's a way for my viewers to communicate with me. And I probably need to even push it more to say, hey, if you want to reach out to me or chat, find me on Instagram. But I'm not using it well. I unfortunately got the
have your Instagram on the screen.
Perfect. And I'm going to start using it more. The unfortunate thing that happened to me that others might find is as soon as I joined it and started following sites, 1 million people started messaging me, asking me to buy things from them or to have me do art for them. And I had to I had to step away because I was just overwhelmed with spam.
Yeah, that is unfortunate. And someone messaged me about art, and then they friended a friend of mine from the comic book store, not even like from the online community, right? And they're like, hey, do you know this person? I was like, listen, not really. They followed me. They messaged me about art. I said, look, I'm not ready anytime soon, but I'll let you know. And it's like, yeah, I'm going to be cautious. I was like, as you should be. But like the person has a real Instagram, you know? And so like I get the whole thing. And sure, people want to make extra money around the holidays and stuff. And this person was very deliberate, you know? And what is this? Will Clip on Comics be a nominee for the 2026 Soka's Award? Oh,
so Friday, I released my Bronze Age Bill and I did our first awards show, the 2025 Swarm of Comics Awards show. And I definitely had mentioned Doghouse Comics, and I have Comic Issues and Mon Comics and a whole bunch of them. So I think they're wondering if you'll end up on the 2026 awards. I have a feeling he might be.
Oh, good. I love that. I love it. And look, Mon's amazing. He's supposed to be joining me tonight. So that'll
it's a parody awards show, and I happen to mention some of those channels, and then I tagged them and put their links down in the description so people could go find them. But you know what, at one point there was I'm in a tangent here. I know we're going to get back to Bronze Age stuff and things like that, but just to give people a little background on some of these things is, you know, I started my channel and I love doing digital art. I'm not a digital artist, but I love doing it. I've done it for music stuff for 25 years. And I'm pretty good at Photoshop, especially considering I'm using a version of Photoshop that's now going on 19 years old. And I've not kept up with that technology. I use Photoshop, I use Canva, I use some AI to do things, but I love doing my thumbnails. That's the big thing. I spend more time on thumbnails than I do recording videos and editing videos. And at one point I said, are there any awards for the best thumbnails on YouTube? Because I feel like I should be nominated. And I was talking to Bronze Age Bill and I said, you know what, we're going to make our own awards show and I'm going to nominate myself for best thumbnails. So we did an awards show, and of course we won all our own awards and we gave them to each other. And that was the running joke through the whole thing. The other running joke is, when, I don't know if you guys remember this, but when Frank Sinatra was given a Lifetime Grammy Award, I think it was Grammy or Academy Awards. He was on stage and he was getting older and he was rambling, and they started playing music over Frank Sinatra. And Frank Sinatra basically said, you can shut your fucking music off. I'm fucking talking. I'm Frank Sinatra. So the whole running joke in the awards show is every time Bill and I give each other an award, the music starts playing before it plays us off before we can start talking. So
we can start talking. I love that.
So watch it. I know I gave away the spoilers, but it's still just as funny watching it. So I'm going to try and do an awards show every year. So, and maybe we'll even have people on for the awards if people like it and enjoy it. I
think people do. I mean, we're the awards portion of the online community is shifting and changing. The Zelda awards are coming, and the Zelda awards is serious, right? Like the ladies are really pushing. They really want to celebrate the women and the overlooked people in comics that they enjoy and they want to see celebrated.
Yeah.
So they've created the Zelda awards and they're working on it and they have an open nomination process and they're meeting all sorts of people. They even wrote to a woman who's got a popular comic book series or comic strip series in France. And the woman wrote back using Google to be like, I don't even know English. How did you people find me? What do you mean I'm nominated for an award? And they're like, no, like this is serious. It's new. So the woman in France is like, this is freaking amazing. Like, okay, I'm on board. That's so cool. And like the girls over here are like, oh my God, this woman is so cool. This is so great. And she even told them that when she has the work, she's had some of her work adapted to English. So she's going to send them a couple copies, I
love it.
I was like, but it's this really beautiful thing. Like this happened because they reached out to all of their friends and allies. And it was like, hey, we really want to do this thing. Let's really work together. And I love that too. And the other thing that I thought was really great was the fact that they said that they're finding support in places they never dreamed they were going to find support, right? And so that's been a really good experience for them. So shout out to everyone, whether your awards are there for comedy or legit purposes, shout out to you. All right.
And it's good to see. I just want to say hi to Eric on there. It's awesome to see all these people on there. I love it.
I know. I I heard there's a new. Nope, we're not doing that. I don't know. No, we're not associating. We're not associating with the bell. No, we're not.
Cliff isn't having it. He's too authentic.
I'm not having it. Nope. Vince, listen. I'm sorry, guys. I'm gonna step away from the comics for a moment. I was at a wedding, and I performed the ceremony, and the groom is Puerto Rican, and the bride is a cowgirl, and the bridesmaid got up to give a toast, and she goes, she always loved eating Mexican food and burritos and tacos, and of course she married a Puerto Rican, so it all makes sense. And I was like, where is my shoe? Where's my shoe? I will throw a shoe at this girl. Where is my shoe?
Love Puerto Rican tacos?
So anyhow, I was so mad, right? And the groom is looking at my face, and I'm looking at his face, and I'm and all I'm thinking is like, it's a good thing they paid me cash. All right. So wait, now the end of rant. Back to comics. All right.
Back to comics.
I do not have artwork for this segment. I've renamed this segment Shelf Pleasure. And Shelf Pleasure is where you show us a collectible you acquired recently, not recently, whatever, that you're really you've loved adding to your collection, has a lot of meaning.
So we're gonna pretend there's a graphic?
We're going to pretend there's a graphic because I haven't come up with one yet.
We don't have it in. Okay. So yeah. I came to the, I figured it out pretty quickly. And there's always a story with Randy, but there's a story behind it about why it was important and why I still love it. So I picked this book up. This comic book up, and some of you have seen this in some other videos if I did unboxings or talked about it and so forth. But when I was a kid, we were buying comic books, and I laugh now when I think back to the 1980s, and we would see like giant size X-Men on the wall books, and it was $20. Like, we can't afford that stuff. You're spending your weekly money, 50 cents, 60 cents, 65 cents, as the prices kept going up. You have to buy your weekly books. You want to read books. You know what I mean? I wish I could go back in time. But I decided I really loved, especially in the 80s, although I was a Spider-Man guy since back in the 70s, I really felt there was really super strong storylines with Captain America in the 1980s. I got sucked right into Captain America. Diamondback, the Serpent Squad, Captain America, the government saying you're government property and you have to do what we tell you, and him saying no, and that's when he, went off grid. Good morning, Jonathan. And there was some really good, I think, underrated storylines for Captain America. And I started falling in love with Captain America. And what I had decided I wanted was Captain America's first modern appearance in the Avengers #4. Everything's backwards.
Oh my goodness. So I have a response for this. Okay.
That's Mac in Always Sunny in Philadelphia season finale, correct? When he was doing, is that Mac? Who is that?
No, I'm not sure this is Mac. This is this is Pietro Jackson.
Got it.
From Desperado. No, I wish I had the Mac.
The Mac skit. The Mac one when he's
Of course I do. It was beautiful. And then of course they did that episode 2 seasons later with Danny DeVito being like, no, I don't understand anymore. I'm off board again. And I'm like,
We're talking about Always Sunny in Philadelphia, and it could be season 14 or 15 finale where Mac goes to prison to explain to his dad that he's gay. And there's a whole amazing dance ballet sequence in the rain and the dark like that. You have to go watch it. It should have gotten an Emmy Award for a number of reasons. So when I was younger, I was probably 19. I decided I had no big boy books, none. I just had the books that I bought monthly, and I said, I want that book. And I'll remember it was $175 on the wall. And I said, I want to buy this book. And I actually did a layaway. And my friend worked at the comic book store, and he came to me and said, listen, man, in retrospect, this is a sketchy story, but to me at the time, I was pretty naive. Well, I just worked down the street from the comic book stores, New England Comics. And my buddy came to me that worked there. He was older than me, but we went to the same school. And he said, hey, you know that book you have on layaway? And I said, yeah, I've paid like $40 towards it. He said to me, if you give another $40, I'll give you the book. And I went and I got $40 from my paycheck, and because we got paper paychecks at the time, and I cashed them at the supermarket counter. I don't even think I had a bank account. And I ended up paying $80 for this book. And it was my first big boy book. And it was just absolutely game changing for me, from wanting to start collecting Silver Age, and then eventually, which became Golden Age not that long ago. But this was my first big boy book ever. Now, in retrospect, I realized my friend stole the book and sold it to me under the table. But what did I know? I'm just a dumb, 19 or 18-year-old.
Wow, that story took a dive.
Yeah, it got dark. I mean, he needed the money and everything like that. But I picked this book up and I kept it. And I still have the original Mylar with the sticker on it that says $175, near mint condition, long before we have the standards of what CGC is. So when I started being friends with the guy who does the pressing and submitting for me, I was like, let's do it. And he goes, well, what do you want to do for your first CGC books? And I'm like, this is the first book I'm ever going to do. This is the most important book that, to me, out of anything I own. This is my favorite book. It's my most important book. I have more expensive books. I have rarer books. But this book was the one that I was more happy to add to my collection. And then once I got graded, I felt like I added it to my collection again. I got a double whammy there. Yeah. Now, if you watch the video where I unbox it, the 5.0 was massively disappointing for me. I wish you guys could see this. My webcam is not great.
It's a beautiful copy anyway.
It is a beautiful copy. There, you will not find anything. You're not going to ever see it on there. You're going to see everything's backwards a little bit. There is no way, a little spine roll here, but there's no way this book is a 5. It's just not. Oh, did I lose you, Cliff?
No, you did not. No, I zoomed in.
Oh, you did. Yeah.
Yeah.
Here you are, buddy.
Yeah.
This book is definitely a 7 in my opinion, and I've considered cracking it, resubmitting it, and maybe even have someone do a little bit to it. But ultimately, it's fine. It's preserved, and I love it. And that's my book that I'm bringing to you for my shelf pleasure.
Look at this madman. All right. And with that, I just want to say thank you to Matt for the super chats, and thank you to Kingdom of Nerds for, Kingdom of Nerds, like, fix that spine, man.
Yes, I agree. And I'm considering doing that. I just need to trust and find the right person to do it. And I know people have recommended me some amazing ones, but it's like, I know this sounds naive, but if I can't hand it to them in person and meet them, I'm going to have a hard time doing it.
And I don't blame you. And honestly, me personally, I would just stick with the 5 and be like, you know what?
Yeah. It's not the end of the world.
Like, it is what it is. It's beautiful. It's mine. It's a 5, But first, thank you to Matt. Come on. And Kingdom of Nerds, I still don't have a nice furry bear for you, but thank you for the suit. Thank you for the gift memberships to Nerdy Geek Comics, Wellboard, Double O, D Watcher, Circumstances. Welcome aboard. And I got plans for this month for the members giveaway, so I got to make sure that I have that covered in my next video. What's Kingdom Nerds here? It's hard to send books to someone to press. I taught myself to press. Yeah, and even teaching yourself to press, it's still scary. There's all sorts of things you got to learn about heat and pressure, and I'm just like, it is what it is. It is what it is. Like, I'm just too nervous to get. There's a couple guys that I might trust, but it would have to be a book that, like, I feel very strongly about.
He wants to get out of the room, so I'm going to let him out. This is Mario Speedwagon.
Mario Speedwagon, I love it. I love it.
So that's my little buddy. Hi, buddy. Say hi. All right, I'm going to let him get out of the room. Hold on one second.
No worries.
You can keep talking.
Of course. I do love to keep talking. Look at this. Kingdom Nerds is not hard. You should learn. Yeah, we should all just be pressing our own stuff. I don't know how I feel about that.
I agree. I feel like I should, but I'm honestly terrified. I'm completely pussy out and won't do it.
Well, as most people will tell you, you grab a cheap ass, less than dollar bin book, and you use that to do your
Yes.
experimentation, and you just start with that, you know. Look at this guy. We will talk. No, guys, I'm not doing it. I don't have the space. I don't have the time. I ain't got nothing. I'm like, if I was like, I will, if I want something pressed, I'll send it to you, maybe, or like somebody else who I know. But I think I trust Bruce enough. That said, we got to get to our your final homework. You were ready. He's ready. I love it.
I'm ready.
You are.
So the 5-finger shuffle here. 5 comics you asked me to pick that had a theme, and that was a toss-up between 2 themes. For people who've watched my videos for a long time, there's 2 things that I love with comics. And you know, when I'm buying graded comics and I'm buying Golden Age, I'm not buying to read. I'm buying to collect. I'm buying for a reason. We all have something we want to chase. And it turns out I really love comics with red covers. I'm very attracted. There's a great guy who has a great channel called Space Ferret. He has a great Instagram, and he's a super nice guy, and he tags me in things all the time. He loves pink covers, and he'll find things with hot pink covers, and he loves that. And I love red covers, but I didn't go with that. But I did want to just mention that anyway. I have Cavalier Comics #2. If you go look that up, Cavalier Comics #2 has a beautiful red cover. There's a great old Golden Age Blackhawk cover where Blackhawk is just holding a machine gun like Rambo style, and there's no background. It's just all red. They really pop for me. But the other thing that I really love, and this was how I filled my homework assignment, is I love comic book covers that have spider webs that are non-Spider-Man related.
Oh.
Yeah. So, but I'm going to start with a Spider-Man because this one is almost too good to pass up. There are a lot of Spider-Man comics and covers that are underrated. There's a great issue of Amazing Spider-Man, I think it is, with Frank Miller did, where Peter Parker is like hunched over, like upset, and Spider-Man is painted behind him in beautiful. It doesn't matter, but this is one of my favorite covers here with him and Jack-O-Lantern, 56 of Peter Parker, and I just love that color. And again, that's Frank Miller on there. And I know you love Frank Miller, so I wanted to bring this
much. You know, all I'm thinking is like, who did the heavy lifting on this book? You know, like that's the first. Like, I saw Klaus Janson, and I was like, Klaus, people don't know how much they should love you. You.
Bronze Age Bill and I have talked about this before, because we grew up while Frank Miller was still drawing Daredevil, and when it transitioned into Klaus Janson, and it didn't skip a beat. Klaus Janson was fantastic. He did an amazing job on that. He definitely did the heavy lifting on that.
Klaus, like, and people don't know, Klaus Janson did so much heavy lifting, so much work. The man, like, we need an omnibus. We need an art edition of Klaus Janson. We need to celebrate him. I went to a con, Frank Miller's line down the road. Klaus Janson, no line. And I'm like, this is a travesty of justice.
I was at a Boston Comic-Con, and there was somebody like a Frank Miller. It wasn't him, but it was somebody like that, line around the corner. And Bill Sienkiewicz had nobody at his line. And that is a crime. I love Frank Miller. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
But Bill Sienkiewicz, I walked over. I almost couldn't believe it. I was like, wait. And I just like, isn't it weird when you're at a con and there's nobody in line and you're like, wait, can I just talk to you? Like, yeah, you're just right. I did that with Mike Mignola. Mike Mignola, I just walked over, and he wasn't super friendly or anything, and I don't think he has a reputation. He didn't want to chat with me, but it was weird. And I was like, I almost was like, is there a line? And he's like, nope, you can just talk to me. He's annoyed. But yeah. All right. Land the plane, Randy. So again, in the spirit of your favorite artist, Frank Miller.
Again, Klaus Janson. And
yep, Klaus Janson. But this spider cover, like with the Black Widow here.
Yeah, no, that's a great cover.
Somebody asked Empty Sienkiewicz line, what year? It was in the Boston. I'm going to call it Boston Comic-Con, but that's not what it was called. It was after the, I know this is going to sound weird. It was after the Boston Marathon bombing when they moved the Comic-Con from where it was over in the Heinz Convention Center over to the Seaport and in the Trade Center there. Yeah. And he was in the middle about halfway, almost right in the middle of the whole floor, and he was up, no line there. So whatever year the marathon bombing was, 2015, I think that's what year it was. Yeah, no line, Sienkiewicz. I went and I saw one of the cons around that year, and Neil Adams was there with no line. It was crazy. Yes.
Well, yeah, Neil Adams with no line. Well, you know what? I've seen Neil Adams with no line a few times, usually because of his autograph price practices.
Yeah, that could have definitely been
skyrocketed at a certain point. Yep. You know, he's like, being a Moon Knight fan, I would have died. Yo, that black, white, and red Moon Knight cover that Sienkiewicz did 100 years ago, before we ever thought that way. It wasn't 100 years ago, 30, 40 years ago, but it's so beautiful. It's so, like, I'm not that big of a Moon Knight fan, but I want to have that slab because it's such a great cover. And
so I wish I pulled it out. Sienkiewicz did another one that it's a red cover, again using negative space. I wish I could run the other room and grab it, but that's a beautiful one as well. So those Sienkiewicz, way ahead of his time there. But I'm a big Moon Knight fan too. His stuff on Moon Knight, Elektra, and everything like that.
And you know what's fun for me? Do any of us ever say his name right? Like, I don't even know.
Nope. Matter of fact, Bronze Age Bill and I have joked about it in my videos that we had no idea how to pronounce it when we were kids, and we called them Psychemwitz. We literally just spelled it out. What do we know? Two stupid kids. We're like Bill Psychemwitz. You know, I was probably, you know, in my 20s by the time I knew it was pronounced Sienkiewicz.
Yeah, and
Stained Glass Scarlet. Sorry. Issue 14, Stained Glass Scarlet, that Flash by Night mentioned.
Oh, but no, it's actually issue 24 Flash. Because I pulled it up because I beat you to it.
Can you share it? Is there a way for you to do that?
You know I'm going to share it. You know I'm going to share it. You know it. Look at this. There it is. Issue 24.
Oh, God, I love that. 24, yeah.
Yeah, beautiful. Now look at this. Everybody's going to want to buy it, man. You're going to cause a trend.
Go buy this. Go buy that.
You know, I love the little stained glass in the back and everything.
Oh, beautiful.
Let's see. Oh, let's get. Oh my God, it still is weird. Come on. All right. Hold on. I got it. Almost perfect now. There we go. So we can really enjoy the image. There it is. I did it. I got a beautiful shot of it, everybody. Clip this.
Beautiful. All right. I'm moving on.
Yes.
People aren't here all day. I'm a big fan of Golden Age books, which I have been for a long time, since I was young. Actually, my first Golden Age book that I think I ever bought was GI Combat #6. Ooh. And then the second one I bought was Lawbreakers Always Lose #2. And I bought that in the 80s, and I got it graded and came in a 9.0. It's from 1948. Very cool book. I think I have the highest one in the census, on the CGC census. But I do love the Golden Age horror books, pre-code horror, and I know that's all the trend, but this is the Purple Claw. And this guy has a glove that's purple, and this beautiful spider web cover here. It didn't last very many issues. It's from Toby Press, and I bought this raw and got it graded. I actually think I have a second copy of it that I haven't got graded yet. And I just love this cover. I don't even have issue 1 because the cover of issue 1 is terrible, but this cover is just everything Golden Age horror book that I would love.
And again, the colors are so pronounced. I love it.
Yeah, my webcam stinks. The colors are even better than you can see.
I was gonna say, but even with what we're working with, the colors scream, I'm more vibrant than this 4.5.
Yeah. Oh, without a doubt. She tortured her victims in a web of horror. So this was another great spider. I had to buy this when I saw this.
No, it's perfect.
Right. Moving on to a fun one. Low grade. I actually don't even know how I got this high of a grade, because this is a beater that I'm pretty sure I just got in a collection of books in an auction that I got for like $20, and this just happened to be there. But it is a beautiful Wonder Woman book here, issue 116. Again, with the trying to not get the glare and the reflection, but beautiful spider. I'm pretty sure the spider has like 20 legs, but and Wonder Girl's in here. But this is a beater. You guys can't see it, but I don't know how this got a 3.5. This probably should be a 1.8, but I love it, and I love this cover.
It probably, because actually, you know what? I can't read any of the notes, but it probably does well in other areas.
Yeah. Yeah, the back actually doesn't look too bad. Back looks pretty good.
That could be helpful.
You know,
that could be helpful.
But this was a cool one that I really loved. Again, this idea of these. There's a ton of there's some that I couldn't even find because I couldn't dig out the bins. There's one that's Wow Comics, which was Marvel Girl. She has a beautiful one, and there's also a Captain Marvel book where the webs are chains, and it's a beautiful cover. But I too many bins of these slab books, and I do love these. So that was the next one. And this one's a bit of a cheater. This because it's part of the actual logo, but there is a spider on the cover. So this is another Golden Age one, Web of Mystery. This one I got graded, came in a 6. I was very excited about that. But what makes this even extra creepy besides the web is the baby spiders on the spider. That's almost too much for me, you know?
Oh, wow.
But yeah. You know, I see a spider web on Spider-Man comics, it's obviously there's going to be spider webs, you know. So I love the idea of the non-Spider-Man books there, but beautiful Golden Age book there. This one is from Ace Periodicals, 1953, just before the cutoff when 54 hit with the Seduction of the Innocent, the Senate hearings, and then the Comics Code. So this is obviously, for those who know, it's a pre-code horror on there. So that's a bit of a cheat. And then the last one, because this will mercifully end, is one of my favorite books for a number of reasons. It's this self-deprecating thing that where, you know I'm a talker, I'm a chatty Cathy. That's okay. I'm a chatty Randy. But in my mind, it's like before somebody makes fun of me for it, I'm going to make fun of myself. You know, you can't make fun of me because I'm already making fun of myself. But this next book is one of my favorite spiderweb covers for a number of reasons. And this is a super fun one. I did a video about this. So this is feature presentation number 5, featuring the Black Tarantula. This is, classic pre-code horror here. Pretty good grade and a 5. I bought it graded. Now,
what's that sticker on there? What's that little special sticker?
That's a big part of it. So this is a great story. So, CGC has what do we call them? The what do they call it when they give it the bronze label with the provenance? It's got somebody.
Oh yeah, no, I love those. I have a couple of those from the Winnipeg collection. Yeah.
Yes. Hold on. I'm sorry. I have a pedigree.
Pedigree. Yes.
So like I have a Pedigree Captain Midnight 9.2.
Damn, 9.2.
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah. So I have that. So it's a pedigree. So when this was graded, it's not a pedigree, but it should have been. But it was auctioned off by Heritage Auctions as a collection, and they put their own sticker on it.
Okay.
To signify it. So the Feed Store collection is these kids. By kids, they're probably our age, right? They're pedigree. Thank you, Eric, for that. Yes. Yes, great realistic tarantula on there. Yeah, they probably took a photocopy of it and then just stuck it on there. That's horrifying. But the story, again, anybody correct me, but this is the general idea of it, is that these kids, their grandpa died and he had a feed store. It's a farm, it's in the middle of nowhere, and he would sell his stuff at the feed store. But grandpa was a comic book fan and it saved all of his comic books that he kept buying his whole life. Not when he was a kid. Grandpa was buying books even when he was elderly. And he just kept them in a back room on shelves and in bins. He didn't do anything with them. And they were going to tear down the building, and Grandpa had already died. And the kids went in to go look, and they found this stack in this collection, the Feed Store collection. And they had it all graded, and they worked with, I think, Heritage to get them graded and then auction them all off in pieces. So there's something called, and in my opinion, it should be a pedigree, but it's called the Feed Store collection. And it's great. Go read about that story. It's absolutely fantastic. And these kids must have made $1 million. No lie, $1 million.
Well, look at those kids that found the freaking Superman #1. Their life is better today.
Of course. Some people think that story's a fraud. Look, anyway, so
the reason I don't think it is because it took them years to dig it out and do something about it and get involved with Heritage and I don't know. It's a lot of work for it to be a fraudulent story.
Right. And why would they fraudulent? But what people said is the comics were in between some newspapers up in an attic. They're like, I don't care if it's California or it's not humid. I don't care. You have newspapers. There's no way this book, with those newspapers deteriorating and being in an attic and weather for 90 years, and that book is in that good a condition. That's why I think, again, conspiracy theories. I'm not saying it, but I just thought it was interesting.
And also, you don't get a reliable thing. Like I read the news stories. The news stories aren't direct quotes from the two guys. Yeah. It's like they claim that they found it in an attic and blah blah blah, and that's just the news. Just whatever. I'm sure if we talked to the two guys, it would be like, yeah, there was a box that was full of what we thought were newspapers, and surprise.
Yeah.
But
so this book is not only do I love the cover, but there's the feed store collection on this, and I like the grade in this. I actually think it's better than a 5.0. The back of it is beautiful. It's got the stamp from the store. I love that stuff. But why this book is also interesting to me, it's not an expensive book. I mean, I'm going to make this up. Maybe it's a $300 book. It's not an expensive book. It is a rare book, but it just never caught on. I even love that it says $1, but now 10 cents. Like that's part of the cover. So there's a very famous Silver Age book, a Golden Age book called Startling Terror Tales. And it has an L.B. Cole cover that's all red, and it's like a spider web with a spider with a skull on it. And that book goes for, in good condition, like thousands, if not tens of thousands of dollars. It even has an error variant to it where they put the wrong color around the title and they had to reprint it with the right color. So Startling Terror Tales, somebody can correct me. I'm not looking it up.
That's so funny.
Did you find it? Are you looking for that book or no?
I'm looking. I'm looking for it. And I'm like, I am not finding it. Interesting to know. Wow. All right. So a 4.0 of Black Tarantula sold January 1st for $500.
Oh, geez, I should
that
have.
That one I
found. What I'm trying to, the ghost spider. I'm trying to find the ghost spider. Hold on. Ghosts spider. Thank you guys for holding on for this, just so I can find it.
That's all right. We believe in you.
Startling Terror Tales 11. Look up Startling Terror Tales 11.
All right. Startling Terror Tales 11.
Yeah, because that is a spider web cover that I would love to own. It's a spider web and it's red, Cliff. But unfortunately, if you look up how much they go for.
Let's see. Let me share the screen. There you are, sir.
Nope.
Oh, that's not it?
No. Hold on.
It's got to be number 11, right?
Hold on. Startling Terror Tales? You did look it up.
I did.
That's wrong. That's the wrong book. That's weird.
Yeah. And the nerve of them, too.
Based on police files. Oh, so the Startling Terror Tales number 11 is from 1952, the one I'm talking about.
All right, and this one's 1954.
Yep.
All right, let's re-review, everybody. Let's go back.
Thank you guys for bearing with me.
No, we're gonna do this. Why not? We're here.
I am actually going to get to a point. There is actually a point to all this.
Oh, it is fucking scary. Okay, great. All right, here we go.
Yep.
Here we go. Let me share this.
And spider webs.
Spider web is the last thing I'm looking at on this cover. There you go. It's only a 1.5, and yet look at that price.
Yes. Yeah. Now, here's it's of course the cover people love, and they love the artist L.B. Cole. And it's one of the most infamous Golden Age pre-code horror books. If it was in a 5.0 like this, you're looking at $12,000 or something like that. I do always take a long time to get to the point. So here's what's interesting about that. Oh, so by the way, do you see that?
I switched to another one already with a better cover.
So do you see the blue around the where it says terror?
Yes.
The blue outline?
Yes.
They had, when they first printed it, they accidentally printed it in black and you couldn't read the word tails underneath it. It was an error and they did a reprint. So there's actually the first printing with the error and then a second printing without the error. So
Wow.
if you found this book in a 1.8 with the black, it's even more expensive. It might even be double the price. It's insane. Here was the ultimate point I was going to make.
Blue and black logo variants exist as a note.
Yep. And the black, I think, is the more rare one. I could be wrong. One of them, black or blue, is more rare, but blue is the correct one. So if you looked at my book, which you won't be able to see, my book says 1950 because my book came out first, April of 1950, right? The stories in this book are just reprinted in that book. That book's just a reprint. That's not even original stories. It's just a reprint of this. This is the real one, and my crappy book's worth 500, and that one's worth 5,000.
Yeah, amazing.
It's not about the value,
but it's about the cover.
But it is about the cover. It just was interesting that that book's not even real original stories. It's actually just reprints of the book that I own.
Superman #1 is reprints. It sold for $9 million, and then Action Comics #1 was like, "Hold my beer, everybody, hold my beer," and call Nicolas Cage. You know. Because I'm coming for a rematch. But as a Superman fan, it warms my heart that Action Comics is back on top where it belongs. You know what I mean? And a high grade, no less.
Yeah. I don't even know if Superman and Action Comics was on the next couple of covers after one.
No, he was not on the next couple of covers.
Yeah, because they didn't even know that he was the hit. They didn't even know he was the reason the book sold well.
Yeah. Can you imagine?
So that's my 6 books. I snuck in an extra one there at the beginning.
You know what? That's okay. I'm happy to break the rules for you, and I'm really glad you were here. And look at that. And I said, "Oh, don't worry, it'll only be an hour and a half." And here we are, almost hitting 2 hours.
Sorry.
So no, it's okay. It's wonderful. Thank you again for being here. It's so funny. I'm going through my emails. I'm like, "Oh my God, Randy, we were supposed to do something in like December or something." I'm like, "Oh no, I'm so sorry. I haven't got back to you."
No, this is amazing. I loved being on. I love talking with you. You're a great personality. I love your channel.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that so much. When is Dynamite Comics making the
Fire and Wrath is my brother's first novel.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So
it should happen. And why shouldn't Dynamite do it? Right?
Right.
At least your brother will be guaranteed 26 covers. It's like cover A, fire variant, all flame foil variant, 1 in 25.
Hey, they're keeping Jay Lee in business. They're keeping paying Jay Lee.
Let's keep Jay Lee in business. How cool would your brother's characters look?
I know.
With Jay Lee art,
That's mine. Sorry.
Oh wow, that's beautiful. Let's zoom in. We gotta zoom in. That's great. I lost your audio.
I'm back.
Okay. So wait, tell us about the
What's that?
Tell us about the art.
Yeah, I was at a con and Jay Lee was there and he's one of my favorite artists. And I got up there to get a sketch done from him and I completely panicked and he's like, "So what do you want drawn?" And I was like, "Oh, wait, I don't know." And he was kind of annoyed with me. Like, "You should probably know that before you get here."
Yeah, like, "I'm starstruck. I'm so sorry." By the way, I've absolutely done that where I'm like, "I'm starstruck. I don't know what's happening right now." And they're like, "Oh, okay."
Yep. And I panicked and I said, "Well, Spider-Man," because that was my favorite character. But in retrospect, was Spider-Man really the best use of Jay Lee's art? I feel like it should have been something a little more intricate.
Yeah,
but
I think you made a great choice. That looks very Spidey. It looks
it does look. It does. It's my favorite character and one of my favorite artists, so it worked out well.
I think it worked out great. All right. Thank you for being here. I appreciate it. I know everybody has people to be and things to become. And
also, let me tell you this. I want to say this quick to everybody who's still on here and all the other places. If you message me on Instagram with your channel and I'll follow your channels. I don't ever even always know what comic book channels to follow or Instagrams. Reach out to me, say, "Hey, here's my channel. Here's For Hire Comic Club," or wherever it happens to be.
I'm so glad that you mentioned that because Matt is great and I'm sure he would love to have you for comic conversations.
Yeah, I would love to. So thank you for having me, Cliff. I really appreciate it. And it's great seeing everybody. Thank you guys for joining and commenting. You made it so much fun.
It is. It's been great. All right, everybody. Remember, read your comics, and I love you. Until next time.